All right, moving on. 46 years ago, there was the Watergate scandal in the United States, which cost the then President Richard Nixon his job. He was implicated in the attempt to plant listening devices in the Democratic Party's National Committee in the Watergate building in Washington, D.C. Now, the latest bugging scandal involves the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, that the Chinese built in 2012. The French newspaper Le Monde quoted anonymous sources at the African Union headquarters as claiming that the following. One, that the Chinese had planted listening devices in desks and in the walls of the building. The devices picked up information of every kind from African officials. This information was then relayed to Shanghai late at night when the building was shut. And this had been going on for the last 5 years. Now, Le Monde quoted the officials as saying the microphones were discovered during a routine sweep. The devices were removed and the servers also changed. The report made headlines the day before the African Union summit opened on Monday, a point which the Chinese claimed was significant.
The timing of the article was very interesting. It was published just one day before the summit. So, I think that the story was intended for the African countries here and to attract the attention. But I think that they will not succeed.
Now, for the record, the Chinese denied they either bugged the building or stole data. Meanwhile, Rwanda's President Paul Kagame said, and I quote, "I don't think there's anything done here that we would not like people to know. I don't think spying is the specialty of the Chinese. We have spies all over the place in this world. But I will not have been worried about being spied on in this building," unquote. But the Rwandan president wished that rather than China, Africans should build their own buildings. In other words, this embarrassment may have been avoided if the Chinese had not paid the $12 billion cost and built the African Union headquarters using predominantly Chinese labor. Now, we spoke to Swaran Singh, professor of the School of International Studies at the Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi. Let's listen in.
It is understandable that both China and leaders of African Union will deny it because that's a matter of prestige for them. But China's espionage and spying activities have become increasingly a headache for all major powers around the world. You have repeatedly heard of Chinese spies found in the United States and vice versa. There have been cyber attacks in our own country. So the fact that Chinese are increasingly preferring to make turnkey projects, which is how the headquarters of African Union were built, makes it much more easy for Chinese to plant devices in various places and make use of those devices later. This is not to say that other nations don't do it. Every state does it as much as they can. But the enormous expansion of infrastructure building activities that Chinese are doing. Look at Addis Ababa itself. The airport, when you land there, is full of construction and Chinese workers and Chinese signs all over right now. Then the road from airport to the city is again 8-lane highway made by the Chinese. The metro, the local rapid transport, which Addis Ababa has, the first in Africa, is again Chinese built. The enormous infrastructure building and turnkey mega projects that Chinese are able to do means that their activities, including espionage activities, are expanding very rapidly, and other states maybe find it, as in this case, 5 years down the line. There is no reaction time to other states, which is very difficult situation for other states, particularly in Africa. They're building all over Africa, if you see. So it's not just headquarters. And since we understand that all nations do it, you can believe that Chinese are also doing similar things in other mega projects that they're doing. But at the same time, important to understand also is that intelligence through technology is only one aspect of intelligence gathering, and spying activities go far beyond, and particularly the human element is also very important. And other than these spying activities, the influence the Chinese can wield through other means. You're seeing the unison voices that you will hear from Africa now denying any such allegation is a reflection of Chinese influence based on trade and investment.